Yes, hello everyone. I am Mohit Ahmed Siddiqui with another live online session of SIMA paper P1. This is the management accounting paper of SIMA qualification. Now, actually, this is the very first live online session of my full course, my SIMA P1 full course. So, in tonight's class, I will be looking at various things before I move on to the actual topic. Uh, Let me first introduce myself. I have been teaching since 2018 various professional qualifications like SIMA and ACCA. I hold the ACCA affiliate status and I am ACCA qualified. I have passed all the papers of the ACCA qualification. Apart from teaching, I have also worked as an auditor and accountant for several years. You can also see my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, and the links for my YouTube channel and my Facebook page are mentioned right here on the screen, as you can see. Now, moving forward, let's first of all look at how will I be teaching throughout this entire course, this 3 months course. So the course will take around 3 months to complete, and I will be giving you recordings as well as live online classes in this course. WhatsApp group will be available for the paid students, the registered students who will register in the course. These classes, the first few classes are demo classes, so you can choose to watch demo classes before you register. And I suggest that you register once you are satisfied with how I am teaching. Practice material, I will make available all the practice material. I will make available the reading material. It will include my notes as well. I believe that students should be evaluated on a regular basis. So throughout this session, I will be taking your tests. I will be giving you tests and I will be evaluating your performance, and I'll be giving you feedback on your performance. That is something I feel like that is something very important in my opinion. Now, you will have access to the course for 4 months. You will be able to watch the recordings that you will get for 4 months. After 4 months, uh, you will have to pay some extra amount if you wish to extend your access. Now, this course will only cost you 60 US dollars. I think this is a very affordable price, 60 US dollars. So I have set the price for this course as 60 US dollars. Now, you can contact me apart from all these facilities. You can also contact me. You can contact me anytime via particularly via WhatsApp. I am available. I am nearly available anytime on WhatsApp. So you can uh, share your queries, your questions with me anytime you like. Now, we will be using the Kaplan kit, we will be using the BPP kit for the practice, and I will also make sure that you do practice in my live online sessions in actually in the class. So I will make you practice in the class as well. Moving forward, here I have a syllabus. I have all the chapters from the SIMA P1 syllabus. The first chapter is rational for costing. This is actually an introduction. The second chapter is traditional costing. This chapter includes two main topics, that are absorption and absorption and marginal costing. That are absorption and marginal costing. Moving forward, we have activity based costing. We have activity based costing. This is a modern costing technique that is actually designed to overcome the weaknesses of absorption and marginal costing. Other elements of costing, this chapter includes joint product costs, and this chapter includes joint product costs and what and throughput accounting. Throughput accounting is another interesting topic from the syllabus. Variance analysis and further variance analysis. Now, you should be, I think you are familiar with the variance analysis from your past studies, the standard costing. These two chapters actually relate to variance analysis. Actually, these two chapters are a little bit difficult, in my opinion, a little bit difficult, because the calculations involved in these two chapters are a little bit confusing. So I believe that these two chapters students normally find difficult, particularly. So, and there are different kinds of variances, like the planning and operational variance, the mix variance, the uh, yes, the mix variance, the quantity variance. So we have different kinds of variances that makes it a little bit confusing for students to understand. Moving forward, then we have budgets. Budgets, what is a budget? A budget is actually a quantified plan. A budget is actually a quantified plan, and budget is something uh, that the organization actually intends to achieve in the next accounting period, in the next year. So so we will be looking at the at how budgets are prepared, and what are the purposes of budgets, and what are the budgetary controls involved, and how budgets help organizations in finding a right direction. So we will be looking at budgets in these three chapters: preparing budgets, forecasting, and budgetary control. Okay, then. Now, there is one more thing that you need to remember, that you need to understand about the CIMA P1 syllabus. Chapters like these: budgets, variances, activity based costing, these chapters, or you can say the entire CIMA P1 syllabus, does not only include computations, calculations, but it also includes theoretical aspects as well. So, theoretical parts cannot be overlooked in any case. Make sure that you get good understanding of the theoretical parts as you study, as you go through the entire syllabus. So, I believe that it is equally important. Again, I am saying that it is equally important, apart from just practicing the computational questions, it is equally important that you understand the theoretical areas of the syllabus. Relevant costs and decision making. Moving forward, again, this is a difficult chapter, and this is a difficult concept to understand. This is a difficult concept to understand. Relevant costs and decision making. Relevant costs. This is a difficult concept to understand. I will discuss this chapter in detail when when we will do this chapter uh, later on in the course. Okay, break even analysis and linear programming. These two chapters actually require you to have good maths skills. If you are good at maths, if you are good at solving mathematical equations, if you are good at understanding graphs, if you are good at uh, the basic maths that you studied in your high school, I am pretty much sure that you will not be you will not be troubled by these two chapters. So make sure that you bring good mathematical knowledge into your paper P1 studies. Last but not least is risk and uncertainty. Now, risk, you should have heard of the term risk management. You should have heard of the term risk management. So this chapter actually involves dealing with risks and uncertainties. What is risk? Let me give you a brief introduction here. This is the last chapter of the course. Risk is something that we are, when we are not very sure about something, when we are not very sure about something, then we say that there is risk involved. For example, we are starting a project and we are not sure, we are not pretty much sure about the project, so we can say that there are risks involved in the project. For example, let's say we expect that we need to we for example, let's say that we expect to make a profit of 1 million from a project, but we end up making a loss of but we may end up making a loss instead of making a profit. We may end up there is a chance, there is a probability that we will end up making losses. So there is a risk involved. This is a situation where there is a risk of making losses. And in business, whenever we do business, there are certain risks associated with the businesses. So in this chapter we will be looking at risks and uncertainties. Speaking of uncertainty, uncertainty is a situation where we don't know anything. For example, the coronavirus pandemic. Before the start of the pandemic, no one could say that a situation like this could actually happen. So, uncertainty is when we don't know anything about something. We are not, we cannot foresee anything. We cannot predict anything. Then that is called uncertainty. Okay, then. Moving forward, the first topic of our syllabus, or the topic that I have chosen to start the syllabus, the SIMA P1 syllabus, is absorption and marginal costing. Now, absorption and marginal costing. Absorption costing, the difference between the two approaches. First of all, let me make it first of all let me make it clear that you should have some knowledge, you should have some brought forward knowledge from your BA2 syllabus of these two topics, marginal and absorption costing. You should have studied these two topics from your in your BA2 exam. So I am assuming while teaching absorption and marginal costing, this particular topic, I am assuming that you have some knowledge that you gained at BA2 level of absorption and marginal costing. Now, absorption and marginal costing. Marginal costing, speaking of marginal costing actually values inventories. Marginal costing values inventories. Marginal costing values inventories on the basis of marginal cost. Now, what is marginal cost? For example, a unit of an item costs, let's say, direct material equal to $10 and direct labor $15. Okay. And each unit also costs variable production overhead. Variable production overhead is, let's say, $5. So in total, this equals to how much? This equals to $30. This equals to $30. This is the marginal cost. This will be called the marginal cost. Now, what do we mean by marginal cost? Marginal cost is the cost of making one additional unit. is the cost of making one additional unit. One additional unit. This is the additional cost that we will actually incur for making one additional unit of a product. Or you can say that this may also be called variable cost per unit. Variable cost per unit of a product or a service that we are selling or we are producing. Now, this is marginal costing. This will be the value of one unit under marginal costing. But what will happen if we what will happen? How will we value this one unit? How will we value one unit of inventory under absorption costing? What will happen that instead of just taking variable cost, absorption costing fixed overhead adds a portion of fixed production overhead adds a portion of fixed production overhead to the product. Fixed production overhead to the product. Now, how this fixed production overhead is absorbed, or how this fixed production overhead is calculated? For example, the company has budgeted to produce, uh, let's say 20,000 units 20,000 units of the product. The company has budgeted to produce 20,000 units of the product, and the budgeted production overheads or budgeted overheads are, let's say, how much? $100,000. Then this fixed production overhead for each unit will be how much? Will be this 1,000 divided by 20,000. We will take 100,000 and we will divide it by 20,000 to get a budgeted overhead absorption rate of $5. And we will simply add this 5 to the marginal cost and it will become $35. And this is the cost of each unit in under absorption costing. So what actually is the difference between absorption and marginal costing is this fixed production overhead that we have absorbed, or that we have, you can say, that we have added to the unit cost of each item of a product or service that we are producing. So this is the main difference between the two approaches. Marginal costing takes only the marginal costs, but absorption costing moves one step further and fixed production overhead adds fixed production overhead to the product adds fixed production overhead adds an amount for the fixed production overhead to get the total production costs. Now, so absorption costing actually values inventories, the opening inventory, the the finished goods produced, during a period, the closing inventory. units of inventory. So absorption costing, actually you can say that absorption costing does inventory valuation on full production cost basis. This is the full production cost of a product. This is the full production cost of a product. This is the full production cost of a product. So absorption costing values inventories on a full production cost basis, whereas marginal costing only takes into consideration the marginal cost, and the main difference being this addition of fixed cost by absorption costing. Now, let me make this more clear with the help of an example. I have an example here. Let me make it more clear with the help of an example question. Now, here I have an example question from the ACCA text, from the ACCA content that I have. So now, Big Woof Company manufactures a product known as bark. The selling price of the product is $180 per unit, and the other information given is as follows. Like, direct material is $40, direct labor is $16, variable overheads are $10. Okay, then what we are actually required to do, we are required to prepare profit statements under marginal costing and absorption costing, both the approaches. Now, so the thing that you need to understand, the thing that you need to understand about this question is that the way that we will value our inventories will be different under the two approaches. As I said earlier, in marginal costing, just wait a minute. Yes, in marginal costing, you will take these three costs. You will take these three costs for inventory valuation. Adding up these three, it will become 40 plus 16 plus 10 is equals to $66. This will be the value of each unit of inventory in marginal costing. But when you will move forward to absorption costing, under absorption costing, this value will change. We will not value units at $66, each unit of inventory at $66, but in fact we will use a different value. And how this different value will be calculated? This different value will be calculated by adding or by absorbing further a fixed portion, a fixed uh, uh, by adding fixed overhead, a portion of fixed overhead to this value. So here, actually, I am giving you some time. I am giving you 2 minutes time. I am giving you several, in fact, several minutes time. Let's make it 3 to, I am giving you 5 minutes time. And I want you to just read the question. I want you to look at the question. I want you to look at the question and get a good understanding of the question before I solve this question in front of you in detail. Before I go into the further details, please take your time, take this time, read this question. So I will go further and I will solve this question in front of you. Please. Okay then. So here I am taking a 5 minutes break. Okay, then. Before going for the break, I told you to read this question and I told you that I will solve this question in front of you. So I hope that you have gone through this question, you have read this question. Now, before going for the break, I told you how marginal costing will how will we calculate each the value for each unit of inventory in marginal costing. Let's move one step further and let's look at how what will be the value of each unit of inventory for big woof company in absorption costing. In absorption costing, we will take these three costs. We will take these three costs: direct material, direct labor, and variable overheads. And we will add a portion of fixed cost, fixed production cost as well. Now, the annual fixed production overheads are budgeted. Here it is given that annual fixed production overheads are budgeted to be how much? 1.6 million. And the company expects to produce 1.28 million units of the product. And the company expects to produce how many? 1.28 million units of the product. So we need to calculate an overhead absorption rate. How will we calculate overhead absorption rate? We will calculate overhead absorption rate, OAR, by taking the budgeted fixed production overheads by budgeted fixed production overheads, and we will divide these overheads by we will divide the cost of these overheads by the budgeted annual production. Budgeted annual production. How much are the overheads? What is the cost of the fixed production overheads? The budgeted cost is 1.6 million. We will divide this by 1.28 million units. So the answer that we will get is how much is 1.6 divided by 1.28 is equals to 1.25. Yes, the answer will be $1.25. Okay, so we will add this 1.25 to 66, and what we will get? We will get 67.25. This will be the value of each unit of inventory in absorption costing. In absorption costing, this will be the value of each unit of inventory in absorption costing, $67.25 per unit. Okay, now, and the actual overheads, these are the budgeted amounts. The actual overhead heads that were incurred during the period were how much? Were 1.6 million. We will look into it, but uh, let's first start solving the question. I think it is time that I first start solving the question in front of you. First of all, let's look at how much is the sales, how much is the sales for each company. Oh, so how much is the sales? uh, the sales is $180. The selling price is $180. And how many units of the product were sold during the period? Actual sales for the first quarter. Now, actual sales and production units for the first quarter. So we are required to prepare income statement for one quarter. Now, and during the first quarter, how many units were sold? 240,000 units were sold. At a price of how much? At a price of $180. At a price of how much? At a price of $180 each. So how much was the turnover? Sales revenue. How much? The sales revenue should be 240,000 multiplied by 240,000 multiplied by how much? Multiplied by 180. So it will be like 240 multiplied by 180 is how much? 43,200. And the figures here are rounded to the nearest thousand. So this is the sales less cost of sales. Okay, now we will work on the cost of sales. Now we will start putting values to inventories. First of all, the opening inventory. First of all, the opening inventory. Now, the opening inventory is zero. Opening inventory is nil. There is no opening inventory at the beginning of the period. There is no opening inventory. So the opening inventory will be how much? Opening inventory will be zero. Now, how many units were produced during the period? 280,000 units were produced during the period. 280,000 units were produced during the period. So we will add production to the opening inventory. 280,000 units were produced. Okay. So 280. And how much is the cost of each unit? I told you earlier that each unit will be valued at how much? At $66. Each unit will be valued at $66, or each this is the cost of each unit in marginal costing. Here I am preparing the income statement under marginal costing. So $66. $66 is the cost of each unit that we will produce, or that the company has produced, in fact. So this is the production cost, the entire production cost during the period. How much will be the closing inventory? Now, how much will be the closing inventory? The quantity left in the closing inventory is actually how much? Is 40,000 units. Is 40,000 units. How? During the period the company produced 280,000 units. Company produced how many? 280,000 units. Of these 280,000 units, 240,000 units were sold. So the inventory that the company should be left with at the end of the period is 40,000 units. Is how much? Is 40,000 units. Now, so 40,000 units. We are left with 40,000 units at the end of the period. Now, we will multiply this 40,000 by how much? By 66. By 66 to get 40,000 units. Multiply by 66. So this is the closing inventory that we are left with. We will minus this closing inventory. We will definitely deduct this. We will subtract the amount for closing inventory from the opening inventory and production to get the value for cost of sales. To get the value for cost of sales. How much should be the cost of sales? The cost of sales should be this. So the cost of sales is how much? Cost of sales is 15,840. And we will deduct this cost of sales from the sales revenue to get the contribution. This is the contribution under marginal costing. Now there is one more thing that we need to make sure here, that we, if we have any other variable cost, is there any other variable cost other than these three in the question? Because marginal costing, what marginal costing actually does, you can see here I have prepared two statements of profit and loss, one under absorption costing and the other under marginal costing. Under marginal costing, we actually deduct all the variable cost. We deduct all the variable cost from the sales revenue to get contribution. It can also include variable cost related to selling, distribution, and administration. It is not necessary that only variable cost related to production are included here. So what we actually need to do, we need to deduct all the variable cost. When preparing a profit statement under marginal costing, we need to deduct all the variable costs from the sales to get contribution. In this question, however, there is no other variable cost other than these three. There is no variable cost other than these three: the material, the labor, and the variable overheads. There is no other variable cost. So, okay. So we have, so what we did, we valued inventory on the basis of on these variable costs, and we simply found out the cost of sales. We subtracted this cost of sales from the sales revenue to get contribution. That appears to be 27,360. Now finally what we will do, we will deduct all the fixed costs. We will deduct all the fixed cost that we have incurred during the first quarter to get the net profit under marginal costing. How much is the fixed cost? How much are the fixed costs? Annual fixed production overheads are budgeted to be, and expect how much are the actual overheads. Yes, actual overheads are how much? 1.6 million for the entire year. Here you should be very careful. That you make sure that this is the cost for entire year, but you are required to prepare profit statement. You are required to prepare a statement of profit for the quarter only, for 3 months only, but the cost is given for entire year. So what will you do? You will divide this cost by how much? You will divide this cost by the number of quarters. We have 4 quarters in a year. It will become zero point 0.4 million, and multiplying and just simply multiplying this by 1000, it will become like how much? It will be 400. So here I will take 400.4 million as 400, since I am rounding this off to the nearest thousand figures. So now less fixed costs. So we will deduct fixed cost here. How much are the fixed cost? As I calculated in front of you, fixed costs are 400. How much is the net profit? Net profit is 26,960. This is the net profit under marginal costing. Okay. How much? Yes. Now we will calculate, we will prepare the same statement under absorption costing. So let me do so. 43,200 will be the revenue, will be the sales under absorption costing, will be the sales under absorption costing. What we will do that now we will subtract, similarly uh, we will subtract cost of sales as we did in marginal costing. Again we will subtract cost of sales in absorption costing as well. Now this is the sales in absorption costing. Now I am supposed to calculate cost of sales in absorption costing. How will be now? So as I told you earlier, as I have shown here on the digital board, that the cost of each unit under absorption costing, or the value that we will put to each unit of inventory under absorption costing, will be 67.25 and not $66. So what will be the value of opening inventory? The value of opening inventory will be 0, as we had no opening inventory. But the value of production will be how much? The value of production, the number of units produced will be 280,000. As 280,000 units are produced, we will take 280 multiplied by 67.25. This is the value of the inventory produced. And closing inventory. Now closing inventory will be valued as how much? Will be valued as 40 multiplied by 67.25, 2690. This will be the value of the closing inventory under absorption costing. And the cost of sales. So the total cost of sales that we will get in absorption costing is how much? Is yes, 16,140. This is the cost of sales of all the units of inventory in absorption costing. So as you can see, the figures are different. Figures are different. And why figures are different under absorption costing as compared to marginal costing? Figures are different. Why? Because of this adjustment, because of this 1.25, because of the portion of, because of the fixed overheads absorbed, because of the fixed overheads absorbed, the figures are different. Fixed overheads, we have also absorbed $1.25 for each unit of inventory, a fixed overhead of $1.25 to the uh, to the marginal costing values. We have also added 1.25 to the marginal cost. We have also added a fixed amount. We have also added an amount for the fixed production cost in absorption costing as compared to marginal costing. Now, cost of sales under marginal costing, this is the amount of cost of sales that we are getting in absorption costing. Now, there is one more thing that you need to understand, that In absorption costing, we absorb, we estimate this actually, this overhead absorption rate, this OAR, OAR is actually an estimated amount for absorbing overheads. This is an estimation of overheads absorbed, of overheads, fixed overhead absorbed. But what if this estimation, this estimated expense is not equal to the actual expenditure, the actual overheads? Now, what happens that we actually estimated this OAR on the basis of budgeted production. The budgeted production was how much? Budgeted production was 1.28 million units. This is the budgeted production. This was the budgeted production. This is what we budgeted. But we end up, but we did not actually produce 1.28 units during the period. We actually produced different number of units. We actually ended up producing different number of units than what we budgeted for. In this quarter we produced 280,000 units. During the first 3 months we produced 280,000 units, and the actual overheads incurred during the period, during the entire year, were 1.6 million. So there is a difference. Actually, the point that I am trying to make here is that there is a difference between what we budgeted and our actual production. There is a difference between the budgeted activity level and the actual activity level. So we will compare we will compare the amount of overheads absorbed and the actual overhead incurred. The amount of overheads absorbed, ever absorbed overheads, how much are our absorbed overheads? Our absorbed overheads are 1.25 per unit. We are absorbing an overhead of $1.25 for each unit. How much is our production? Our production is 280,000 units. So this means that we have absorbed overheads equal to how much? Overheads equal to 280 multiplied by 1.25. This is the amount of absorbed overheads. We have absorbed overheads equal to $350. But how much are our actual overheads? Our actual overheads are this $400. Actual overheads are how much? Actual overheads are $400. So the amount absorbed, the amount of the overheads absorbed is less as compared to the actual overheads. So there is an under absorption. There is an under absorption of overheads. There is an This will be called an under absorption. These are under absorbed overheads. These are under absorbed overheads. So overheads are underestimated. You can say that in our calculation, when we put a value to the inventories in absorption costing, when we put a value to the inventories, we actually underestimated the amount of expenditure on overheads by how much? By $50,000. So we need to make an adjustment. We actually need to make an adjustment for these for this under absorption of overheads. Now, how will we do this? How will we do this? We will simply we will simply deduct, as the amount of expenditure, as the amount of expense is underestimated, we will we will reduce this amount, from the profit figure. We will reduce this amount from the profit figure. Now, so here you can calculate gross profit. You can calculate gross profit, and then you can make an adjustment under absorbed overheads. How much are our under absorbed overheads? Under absorbed overheads. Overheads are under absorbed by how much? Overheads are under absorbed by 50,000. So we are deducting 50. We are subtracting 50 from the profit figure, the gross profit figure, to bring the profit down to the actual level, to reduce our profit, as the overheads are under absorbed, as the expense, you can say under absorbed. By the term under absorbed overheads, you can say that this is an underestimation of expense. So as our expenses are underestimated, we are deducting under absorbed overhead to reduce the to reduce our profits, to bring the profits to the actual levels. Okay, then. Now, so here we have made an adjustment for under absorbed overheads. Moving forward, what are we left with? Do we have Yes, we have budgeted fixed selling costs as well. We have budgeted fixed selling costs as well, and these costs are incurred at a rate of $320,000 per quarter. These costs are incurred at a rate of $320,000 per quarter. So we will deduct these costs as well, the budgeted fixed selling costs. We will deduct these costs from the profit figure to get a net profit. Fixed selling costs. Fixed selling costs. These costs are incurred each period, each quarter. So what we need to do, we simply need to just deduct these costs from the profits to arrive at the actual net profit. How much is the actual net profit? The actual net profit in this way, what we will get? We will get, now here, I'm really sorry, I forgot to, just wait a minute. I actually forgot to deduct the selling costs here. Selling costs. We also, yes, minus 320. So the net profit under marginal costing, we will get 26,640. And the net profit that we will get in absorption costing, how much is the net profit? Let's see. Yes. How much is the net profit? The net profit under absorption costing in this way will be 26,690. So this is the profit statement under absorption costing. This is the profit statement under absorption costing, and this is the profit statement under marginal costing. This is the profit statement under marginal costing. So I hope that you got a good understanding of the basics of some of the very basic points about these two approaches, the marginal costing and the absorption costing. So in tonight's session actually, we we looked at the two most popular, in fact the most famous approaches for cost accounting, that is the marginal costing approach and the absorption costing approach. And I and we actually looked at the basics, at some of the very basics of marginal costing and absorption costing. So this is how we actually prepare our profit statements under marginal costing and under absorption costing. In marginal costing, we deduct all the variable costs from the sales revenue to get contribution, and then we deduct all the fixed cost as a period expense, all the fixed costs as a period expense. These are all the fixed costs. We deduct all the fixed costs as a period expense to get a net profit figure. But in absorption costing, instead of just deducting all the variable costs, all the marginal instead of deducting in fact the marginal cost, we also make an absorption. We also absorb an amount for fixed production overheads to inventories. So the values of inventories change under the two approaches. The values of inventories change in absorption costing and are not the same as they are in marginal costing. And then we also choose under absorbed overheads. We also deduct under absorbed overhead. We also make an adjustment for under absorbed overheads or for over absorbed overheads in absorption costing. Now, when do we need to make this adjustment? We need to make this adjustment. Keep in mind that we need to make an adjustment when the budgeted activity level is not the same as the actual activity level. Then we need to make an adjustment for under absorbed overheads or over absorbed overheads in absorption costing approach. Then we deduct fixed non-production cost in absorption costing, actual fixed non-production cost to get a net profit figure. So in tonight's session, we looked at some of the very basic points. We looked at the basic points about marginal costing and absorption costing. I hope that you liked I hope that you liked the session. Uh, when we will move forward in the next classes, in the upcoming classes, I will go into the further details about these two approaches, the marginal costing and the absorption costing approach. And I will solve questions from the Sima Kaplan kit, Sima Kaplan revision kit, in fact. So stay tuned. Keep watching my videos, keep watching my lectures for more information. I hope that you liked my session. And if you want to register, you can contact me via WhatsApp or any other social media platform. But I prefer using WhatsApp. So it is better that you either call or WhatsApp me on my number, that is +92 343 422 8953. Now, +92 is the dialing code for Pakistan. As I am from Karachi, Pakistan, the dialing code +92 is our country landline, is our dialing code in Pakistan. So you can contact me on this on my WhatsApp number. If you want to register, this is an affordable course. You can register for only $60 for the entire course, not more than this. I am only charging an amount of $60 for the entire course. Okay, then, thank you very much. Thanks for being here tonight. Anything, if you need to ask or if you need my assistance, you can contact me via social media platforms. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for attending tonight's session. uh, and keep attending these demo classes, as these demo classes, first few demo classes of this course are free. Do let me know if you need assistance. Hope to see you soon. Thank you very much. It was Muid Ahmed Siddiqui.